Let's go. Rather die with my brothers. Fits only me left alive by myself. Bury me deep, I'm still standing above. And I'm hearing the screams from the ones that's before us. Now that we stand, we gon' fight till we conquer. The price of the victory's part of the process. Part of my energy, part of me lives in the game. And the game never stops, so I'm probably never.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the final edition of SportsLink Game Day for the 2021 season. I am your host, Hudson French. Ball State takes on Buffalo tonight, looking to clinch their second straight season of bowl eligibility. They could not get it done against Central Michigan last week. We'll take you right to a recap. Now, it wasn't all downcast and rainy for the Ball State team. Their defense came up with 2 turnovers, including a pick by linebacker Clayton Call. And for Clayton Call, we have a teaser for a feature story coming up. Take a look.
The number 32, to me, it just holds strong to me because it resembles something that I truly thought he was a Division I football player and should have been, but wasn't. So why can't I carry that on for him after we went through such a rough time in his late high school years?
Clayton was very reserved, very quiet, and Clayton was attached at the hip to Chris.
It was elementary school, straight on the bus, head to the high school, and see my dad, be with my dad, go to practice, and then mom would come I'd leave that practice early for my mom to come pick me up from her work.
Clay grew up in a very successful program. He didn't go hang out in the locker room so much, he hung out in the coach's room. And his football IQ is off the charts.
Growing up, it was just always seeing him coach everybody else, and then seeing him coach my cousin, and then my brother, then my other brother, and then me, and then my middle brother at the same time. He was at times coach first, dad second. My oldest brother, Cody, he was the guy, like Friday nights, small town, like he was the guy. And that's what me and my other brother, Casey, always wanted to be.
You know, Cody was a pretty special player, and both Casey and Clayton both looked up to Cody.
Well, having your little brothers there on the sideline, yeah, pretty neat experience. Kind of looking back on it now, realize how special that really was. You know, at the time it was cool, it was neat, but now looking back on it, realize how special that was.
They're like 6 years apart, so, you know, during high school and, you know, middle school, you're doing a lot of different things. Cody was doing a lot different things than Clayton was, so I would say now they're super close.
Toughest part about being an older brother, I would say setting a good example, but I didn't do that so well. So I think in some ways they benefited from that.
Now joining us is SportsLink Digital Color Analyst Charlie Maurer. And Charlie, Ball State looking for that bowl eligibility tonight.
Yeah, and this is going to be a huge game for Ball State. I mean, look, you got 5 wins, you need 6 to be bowl eligible here in FBS. But if you look here, MAC bowl eligibility is at a premium right now, right? 7 teams coming into this final game tonight in the Mid-American Conference who are already bowl eligible, and you see Ball State 5-6 need that last win. And honestly, there isn't a guarantee that Ball State will be bowl eligible after that 6th win, but certainly no chance if they lose tonight. So if Ball State can win tonight, it'll be 8 teams in the Mid-American Conference who are bowl eligible. That is certainly a successful season for the Mid-American Conference.
Now, for Ball State to take a win today, who has to show up tonight?
Yeah, and certainly not the best production offensively for Ball State a week ago against Central Michigan. Only 17 points scored, but it starts at the quarterback position for the Cardinals. Drew Plitt last week, certainly not the best performance of his career. A touchdown, 1 interception, 27.5 QBR for him. You can see, I mean, over 2,000 passing yards for him on the year, but Central Michigan, I know it was raining, it was windy, and it was certainly a tough day to throw the ball against Central Michigan, who has some trouble defending the pass, but the Cardinals really couldn't attack downfield, and I hope to see offensive coordinator Kevin Lynch give some trust into a senior quarterback to try and attack downfield against Buffalo tonight. This is a team that certainly has the weapons on the outside to put up points and attack downfield. Obviously no Justin Hall last week, but we're expected to see him tonight. Certainly a huge role that he plays in this offense. But Drew Plitt, last home game of his career, we'll see if he can have a good one tonight against Buffalo. On the defensive side, it's got to be Jalen Thomas. You usually see Bryce Cosby's name up here for the impact player defensively for Ball State, but for Jalen Thomas, he plays a huge role in the rushing game and the passing game defensively for Ball State. He had an interception last week against Central Michigan, but Central Michigan over 280 rushing yards last week against Ball State, and Jalen Thomas at that linebacker position, you know that he was not happy with his linebacker group after that game. So expect Jalen Thomas to be pumped up for his last game, his last home game as a Ball State Cardinal, to try and leave an impact in especially the rushing game against a guy who's another impact player on the Buffalo side, and that's Dylan McDuffie. He is a menace in the backfield for Buffalo. He has pretty much been the offense for the Bulls this year. 188 rushing attempts, 982 yards and 11 touchdowns, over 120 rushing yards for him last week against a really solid NIU team. Dylan McDuffie obviously filling the shoes of Jarrett Patterson that left after this past year, who's one of the best running backs in Buffalo history. McDuffie's certainly having a good year to his name. And then defensively, James Patterson, the brother of Jarrett Patterson, is kind of the leader on this defense as well. 106 total tackles, that leads the team, 4.5 sacks, that's second on the team. He's great in the rushing game, but he also rush after the passer. In Central Michigan last week, did a fantastic job getting pressure on Drew Plitt. Expect James Patterson to be coming out of that linebacker position and rushing Drew Plitt tonight.
A rematch of last year's MAC championship, but a new game, a new week. Let's see what Coach Mike New had to say about playing Buffalo tonight.
Yeah, hard to believe that we're approaching game number 12 here, but obviously we had a good work day today. Guys were locked in, focused in the meeting room. Had a good lifting session and had a good walkthrough today. But we're excited, man. Obviously, for a lot of these guys, the last one that they'll have a chance to play here at Schumann Stadium. So, you're always going to remember your last one. It takes a great week of focus, great week of preparation in order to give ourselves the best chance to win on Tuesday night. We took it on the chin the other night in the game, and so the challenge for us is to make sure that we put that behind us as quick as possible, because it's a short turnaround. Obviously, don't want to play into it too much. That hey, it's a last game, it's a last game, it's a last game, it's a last game for this group of guys, because I don't want that to be everything that we discussed this week, because we got a game to be played. That there's a lot riding on this. There's a lot on the table, and the focus is just really sticking to our process in order to get yourself prepared, study the tape, study the opponent. Obviously, make sure you know what your responsibilities are with the game plan. We want to have a great week of preparation here, so we can focus on getting a win here on Tuesday night. That's what makes the MAC such a special league. That's why MACtion's so popular, because you see this team, this league so competitive from top to bottom, and it's obviously evident in what you see. The type of year that Northern Illinois had this year, they were picked to finish last, and obviously they punched their ticket to Detroit with a win last week. I mean, that's this league, and it's going to require our best football. Every team that we play, you got to make sure you have your best brand of football on the field in order to have a chance to win the football game. That's the biggest challenge, is making sure that no matter what happens, win, lose, or draw with the previous game, you got to stick to your process. You got to move to the next one. Look at the number of close games they've been involved in. Obviously, Coach Lindquist has done a good job there. Obviously came in under tough circumstances because there was a late coaching change, if you will, at Buffalo, but he's got those guys playing hard, man, and they've been through a lot of adversity. They've been through a lot of challenges this year, but they're going to come in here. I know, obviously, the way in which they lost this past game against Northern there at home, and Northern went on to punch their ticket to Detroit. They're playing competitive. They can beat anybody on any given week, and they're a team that, if you just look at the numbers and what they're doing offensively, they've been pretty balanced that way between rushing and passing, and obviously defensively they've had stretches where they played some really, really good football. And so we got to be ready. We're gonna have a good team coming in here that obviously we had a chance to play them in the MAC championship game a year ago. Yes, they've had some changes. Yes, we've had some changes, but we got to make sure that we're ready to go, because it's going to be a hungry team coming in.
Welcoming in SportsLink Digital play-by-play man Ryan Klimcak. Ryan, what are your keys to the game tonight?
Well, Hudson, I think after a very disappointing loss to Central Michigan, Ball State is going to want to try to redeem themselves a little bit on offense. And I think the first thing is going to be winning third down. Ball State only converted on about 29% of the third down opportunities they had last week against Central Michigan, where Central Michigan on offense, they were around 40% on their conversion rate. So Ball State is going to want to try to win third down. I think if they hover anywhere in between 40 or 50%, if you could live around there as an offense, you're going to be in very good shape. But there were too many times a week ago where Ball State was almost behind the sticks on third down opportunities and really forcing themselves into 3rd and 10 or 3rd and beyond that distances for Ball State, and that's just not a recipe for success. If Ball State can win 1st and 2nd down before they even get to 3rd down, that's going to be huge too, because if you can get to 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, short yardage situations, you could just turn and hand it off to Carson Steele. Number 2 for Ball State, you want to take care of the football against the struggling Buffalo team. Buffalo has been wildly inconsistent this year on offense, and the last thing you want to do is give Buffalo any opportunities in your own territory for Ball State. Ball State sometimes this season has had the tendency to turn the ball over a little bit too much on offense. If Ball State can win the turnover battle, force a few takeaways on defense, but also take care of the football on offense, that's probably the most important thing here today, Hudson, is going to be taking care of the football. You don't want to put the ball into harm's way if you're the senior quarterback, Drew Plitt. I expect them to rely a lot on the freshman Carson Steele, who hasn't had a lot of fumbles this season, and he's really done a very good job of hanging on to the football. So relying on him and relying on this offense's ability to just protect the football and not try to do too much. Just get the ball out quick to your playmakers, and they're going to be in very good shape. And number 3, I think, Hudson, a key is going to be pushing the ball downfield when you rely on that running game as much as Ball State does with Carson Steele in between the tackles at times. That opens up opportunities over the top. We see a lot of footage from last year's MAC title game, and they were able to really attack vertically against this Buffalo defense downfield. That's something we really haven't seen a whole lot this season out of Ball State. And it's a little bit surprising because their running game has been so dynamic with Carson Steele. You would expect them to take more shots downfield, but that really just hasn't been in this offense's DNA so far this season. I do think that they're going to have opportunities here tonight, though, against this Buffalo secondary, like they did a season ago, to take shots 20-plus yards downfield that we really haven't seen a whole lot this season. Those are going to be really important keys for Ball State if they want to come out on top in this one and send the seniors home with a win, and most importantly, to stay bowl eligible. Ball State looking for that 2nd straight year of bowl eligibility.
We've talked key players, we've talked keys to the game, but perhaps one of the most impactful or inspirational keys to every Ball State game is Maddox Tavernier, the equipment manager. We have a video on him. Take a look.
Football is just something that I really just grasped. When I started playing, it was just something that I just loved. It's just part of me at this point.
No one has ever, I don't think, had as much fun playing sports as Maddox.
The summer going into my senior year, it was just a regular day for me. It was the day of the first practice. I got a call from my mom saying that, hey, we're coming home. The MRI showed something in your leg.
After they got him through his classes, he always knew he wanted to go to Ball State.
Ball State was always a part of my life. I got a call from a random number and I answered it, and it was Coach New. He was saying how he's been following my story and how he's heard about me through my uncle, offered me a position to be involved with the team, and that's something that I just jumped on right away. After that first couple days, I realized how hard it was going to be. I realized my life would never be the same, but I want to try to be the same me that I can in the most ways possible. I didn't want people to know that I was not able to walk for months. I didn't want people to know that I stay up at night not knowing if I'm going to be able to complete this.
The hardest part would be trying to be happy without as much joy as he brings.
Now, Ryan, you're one of the producers on this story. Take us a little bit through, what it was like to meet Maddox.
Well, first and foremost, his story is really inspiring, and we really can't wait to share with all of you. Tristan Fleur, another rock star who is producing this story. And it's just really inspiring, Hudson, and we can't wait to share it with everybody next month. But Maddox obviously has overcome a lot throughout his time through high school and then getting here to Ball State. And it's really an inspiring story, and I hope everybody else is going to be as inspired by it as we were producing it.
He'll be there tonight, and we will too. What are your expectations for the game tonight?
Well, I think first and foremost, the people in charge of scheduling certainly made the right call by scheduling this game the Tuesday before a long holiday weekend. A rematch of last year's MAC title game, Ball State in Buffalo. It should be a really good one. I think you're going to have a really close one, Hudson. I think somewhere in between 3 to 6 points. I don't see a whole lot of separation between these two teams. Both offenses have been maybe just a little bit inconsistent this season. Both defenses do give away some big yardage throughout this season, but we'll see who comes out on top in this one. It should be a good one. That I do know.
Well, that is it for SportsLink Game Day. Thank you guys so much for an incredible season. We will see you next time.